I've been really struggling over what my position is on what happened with the Capitol Hill riot. I'll call it a riot, sure. People stormed in. They didn't look, let's be honest, they did not look like they were going to hurt. I mean, some of them were aggressive. I'm sure some of them would have punched a senator in the face. I'm sure some of them might have done worse to a senator. However, it seemed like there was a large majority that were let in. There was a large majority who were allowed to do what they did. And I am not totally sure why all that happened. The police should have been there in higher numbers to stop that from happening. It is their job to make it seem like the country is stable, and they failed royally at that job. So that is bad because it's going to make our enemies look at us a little bit more like we're weak. That's really bad. But as far as the ethos of what the rioters were doing in the Capitol, I'm going to have to unfortunately make this argument. And this is why I've been struggling with this. Because I don't know if they necessarily did something unprovoked. I'm not sure if I am going to be able to say that I think that they were wrong for doing what they did. I think that they were wrong for doing what they did, not based off of motivation, but based off of strategy for what the country is, for where the country is going, because they justified oppression by the government towards the right wing. You have freaked out the Democrats, and the Democrats are neurotic authoritarians who are afraid now. And when you're an authoritarian and you're afraid, you want even more power to stop yourself from being thrown out of power. They know that they have a tentative grasp on the whole thing, and they're like seeing that there's a crack in the structure of the republic, at which point they are going to scream and rail against it and push for more crazy stuff because they are power mad. And this is the thing, I know that people who watch this and will be receiving this will say, well, then you can't say that left-wing riots were ever bad because now you're justifying right-wing riots. I do not justify the right-wing riots based off of only the point of strategy, again, because it involves oppression. And also, once you attack the state has the legal obligation to defend itself. Just saying. I don't feel like it's wrong. Like, here's another thing. I don't feel like it's wrong that woman was killed. I mean, she's probably the police officer was probably going to be prosecuted, but she was breaking a federal law, and the police officer didn't know who was going to go after who and what they were doing there and who was in danger. So I don't feel like her death. I feel like once you attempt to enter a legal building for a public protest and you push past the boundaries of the door and you push past the boundaries of the police, and you've in a group of people who fought with the police, and you don't really know the intentions of everyone, you are currently in a combat scenario. And if they were, and the thing is, this is why I say I don't think that they were trying to actually coup anyone, because they didn't try very hard to coup anyone. If they were trying to coup someone, I don't think that their feelings about why they should do it are misguided, because I think that the country has been cheated out of an election, or at least cheated out of feeling like it was fair. This is not me then saying that we should go and kill our governors and our senators and end the republic. But I feel like the republic's not as sanctified as it was before November, if that makes sense. It is not a fair apparatus with which produces results that are even-handed. If I am to be in a republic, I am going to consent to the process. I will be consenting to the process, and by therefore consenting to the results. The process was fucked with, in my opinion, and I think it's fairly clear it was fucked with. At which point, my agreement to engaging in the republic as it stands is been the contract has been voided. It has been violated. I do not feel like I have a place in the republic anymore, because I feel like it was the election results were gained by illegitimate means and unexplained means that needed to be explained for my confidence in the structure to continue to exist. If any future employer is watching this, by the way, I want them to be very clear in knowing that I am not saying we should go kill the governor and we should go kill our senators. But the senators have harmed people. In my opinion, they have. And I feel like people who are upset and done with it are playing with they are playing to their baser emotions, and they're not thinking long term. But I can't blame them for the way that they feel. And another thing, when I'm talking about riots and I'm talking about protests and I'm talking about all this stuff, when it came to what the left was doing over the summer, they were harassing neighborhoods of people. They were occupying and extorting local areas for their goods and services, and they were being authoritarians, basically. I am anti-authoritarian. If I feel like the government is being authoritarian, why am I to argue against its potential upheaval? If I feel like a group of people is being authoritarian and is imposing a new pseudo-government onto a block of people in a different state, why am I then to be like, well, that's just people doing that. It's not the government. Therefore, I am fine with their actions because they are against the big government. No, they're just trying to make a new government that's oppressive as well. I want to iterate again, for future employers' sake, this video will probably be used against me because I'm being very honest at this point, and I can't. I tried to have a different outcome to this video because I was trying to make my thoughts clear on this, and they are clear to me now. What the rioters did at the Capitol was not unjustified emotionally. I think their answer is wrong. I think basically installing a new government with Trump still at the head would delegitimize. It would send the entire country into a spiral, and it would destroy confidence by the other half that voted for Biden and feel that they were now oppressed. At which point that initiates retaliation. Violence begets violence. So my suggestion to this entire thing at this point is sedition. Not sedition, that's the wrong word. Secession. Sedition's a different thing. Secession. Seceding from the Union. Leaving the Union. You can do that personally by being like Henry David Thoreau and not paying your taxes. I'm not going to not pay my taxes because then I get thrown in jail. But I can move to a state with less taxes. I can move to a state where I can advocate for their independence to some degree. It's not California for sure. And say, hey, the federal government's illegitimate. I don't want to follow their rules. Does the government here recognize what I'm saying? Does it recognize my lack of confidence in the republic now? And if they say yes, which might be Texas, might be South Dakota, might be another middle of the country state. If they say yes, then I think that is a fair compromise to what everything that has gone on. It is not fair for a ruling party that gets 51% of the voter population to have their rules imposed onto everyone, even if you are not in favor of that. There should be more deunionization at this point, potentially. I am a libertarian. Being a libertarian means I believe in the non-aggression principle. If I am under attack, I'm allowed to kill, and I'm allowed to defend myself. I'm not against violence. I'm against aggression, offensive aggression. But I am not against defending violence for the sake of defense. And if a group of people feels like they need to be offensive to defend their livelihoods, or else the government with the largest army in the world will come through and oppress them, I mean, like, that's definitely an argument that you can have. Again, that being said, I feel like merely asking the federal government to fuck off is another fair option. Although that is up to people how they interpret this video. I really struggled back and forth with making this video, so if my ideas are a little bit jumbled or a little bit inconcise, that is my fault. I feel like I did my best, though, this time around.